Open your fridge right now. That chicken, those eggs, the leftover burger from last night. You didn't hunt any of it. You didn't even think about where it came from. Here's what nobody tells you. For the first 2 million years of human existence, your ancestors didn't eat meat like this. They didn't hunt. They didn't choose their meal. They waited in the grass while something with bigger teeth killed it first. Then they crept forward, grabbed the bones every predator had already abandoned, smashed them open with rocks, and ate what was left inside. Raw marrow. Gray, slick, dripping with fat, scooped out with bare fingers. That was the first meat your ancestors ever tasted. And what happened next, the shift from scavenger to hunter, from prey to predator, physically rebuilt the human body. Your stomach. Your brain. Your instincts at 11 p.m. when you open the fridge, even though you're not hungry. All of it traces back to this moment. So when did ancient humans actually start eating meat? The answer is not what you think. Go back 3.4 million years. African savannah. Your earliest ancestors were not the top of the food chain. They were 4 feet tall, built for climbing trees, with brains a third the size of yours. Lions killed antelope. Leopards dragged carcasses into branches. Giant eagles snatched small primates mid-stride. And your ancestors? They hid. They watched. They waited. When a lion finished eating, it left behind the thickest leg bones, femurs too dense even for hyena jaws to crack. That was dinner. Early humans smashed those bones open with stone flakes called Oldowan tools. Inside was marrow, and no other animal on the savannah could access it. The marrow was sealed. Humans had the one thing no predator had: hands that could grip a rock hard enough to break bone. For over 1 million years, this was the diet. Not steak, not a hunt, just scraps from carcasses in the dark. But then something shifted. At a site called Dikika in Ethiopia, archaeologists found animal bones dated to 3.4 million years ago with deliberate stone tool cut marks on them. On the older bones, human cuts sit on top of carnivore tooth marks. The lion ate first. Humans came second. Still scavengers. But fast forward to about 2 million years ago, and the pattern completely reverses. Human cut marks are on the bottom. Humans got there first. They killed it. Then the hyenas got the scraps. This was the turning point. Not one genius caveman who invented hunting. A slow, brutal, million-year transition from prey to predator. And here's the part that still shocks scientists today. How did a small, slow primate with no claws and no fangs actually kill anything? The answer is a superpower so strange it barely sounds real. We don't quit. Your ancestors could jog after an animal for hours in the midday heat, long after it sprinted away, long after it collapsed, overheated, unable to move another step. They simply kept coming, sweat glands covering every inch of skin, breathing that works independently of stride, the ability to run in heat that would kill a chasing predator from heat stroke within minutes. We didn't outrun our dinner, we out-stamina-ed it. Some tribes in Africa still do this today. A hunter spots a kudu antelope. For the next 4 to 5 hours, he simply does not let it rest. Every time the animal stops, the hunter appears on the horizon. The kudu sprints again, and again, until it literally cannot take another step. Then the hunter walks up calmly and finishes it, not because he was faster, but because he was relentless. That is still inside you right now. Your body is built for the long chase. 2 million years of practice before anyone painted on a cave wall. Now, here's where it connects to something inside your skull. Your brain burns 20% of your total energy. It is the most expensive organ you own, and you cannot run a machine that hungry on leaves and roots alone. One successful hunt gave your ancestors tens of thousands of calories in a single pile. Compare that to gathering hours of work for a handful of berries that barely register. So where did all that spare energy go? Scientists believe that as diet shifted toward calorie-dense meat, the human gut actually shrank. A gorilla needs a massive digestive system to process raw plants all day. Humans traded gut size for brain size. Same energy budget. Completely different investment. Energy that used to go to digestion went to a bigger brain instead. A brain that could plan hunts, coordinate with others, and eventually ask the question you are hearing right now. Then came fire. And here is the part almost nobody talks about. The obvious thing fire did was cook meat, which made it easier to digest and pulled more calories out of every bite. That part is true, but that is not the most important thing fire did. Before fire, your ancestors ate and immediately scattered, alone or in pairs, watching for predators, no lingering. Fire changed that completely. For the first time in human history, a group of people could sit together in one place after dark, with light, with warmth, with predators keeping their distance. Fire did not just cook the meat, it created the first table, the first shared meal. The first moment eating became social. And around that fire, while the meat cooked, people talked. Skills were passed down. Hunting strategies were shared. Stories were told. The oldest verified oral traditions on Earth Aboriginal Australian stories describing sea level changes survived intact for 7,000 years through nothing but people sitting together around a fire, telling them again and again and again. Fire did not just feed the body, fire fed the culture. Now here is the moment in this story that nobody expects. Your stomach acid has a pH of about 1.5. That is closer to a vulture than a cow. Vultures eat rotting carcasses covered in bacteria that would kill most animals within hours. Their stomach acid is strong enough to destroy it entirely. Yours is too. You are literally built like a scavenger. Because for the vast majority of human history, you were one. And then there is Gough's Cave in England, 14,700 years old. Inside, archaeologists found human remains skulls carefully cleaned with stone tools and shaped into cups, long bones cracked open for marrow. Exactly the way your earliest ancestors cracked antelope bones 3 million years before, and the cave also contained horses, deer, and other animals. There was plenty of food. The humans were not being eaten from starvation. They were a deliberate choice. One forearm bone was carved with a zigzag pattern after the meat was removed. This was not hunger. This was ritual. Humans processing other humans the same way they processed every other animal, and sometimes it meant something beyond survival. But here is what matters just as much as what people ate it is who they shared it with. At a site called Kangera South in Kenya, dated to almost exactly 2 million years ago, archaeologists found small antelope carcasses repeatedly processed in the same location for generations. Early humans carrying meat back to the same spot again and again, past hyenas, past lions, past everything that wanted it as badly as they did. Not because it was safe, because sharing that meal with the group mattered more than the risk of carrying it there. That trade, repeated for 1 million years, is the first thread of the social contract every human civilization has been built on since. In the Thai forest of Ivory Coast, wild chimpanzees hunt colobus monkeys, and what happens after the kill reveals everything. Meat is not shared equally. It is shared strategically with allies, with mates, with individuals whose loyalty is worth cementing. Meat was never just food. It was currency, and it still is. Every dinner party, every business lunch, every barbecue where you hand your friend the best piece before taking yours, that instinct traces back to a carcass on a savannah and a group of hominins deciding who gets what. So here you are, 2026. You walk into a supermarket, pre-cut, pre-packaged, wrapped in plastic. You do not even have to think about what died for it. But your body is still running a 3 million year old program, still craving fat like treasure, still treating sugar like a rare, precious find, still telling you, eat what is rich, eat while you can, because tomorrow there might be nothing. That 11 p.m. moment when you open the fridge even though you are full, that is not weakness. That is ancient survival software, still running, still scanning for calories that never ran out. But here is the part nobody tells you about that software. It does not just control your cravings. It controls your curiosity too. The same restlessness that made your ancestors refuse to stay scavengers that drive to push further, want more. Not accept what the lions left behind that is the same thing that made you click on this video. The same thing that makes humans keep asking questions about where they came from. Keep pulling on threads that do not need pulling. You did not evolve to be satisfied. You evolved to keep going. 3 million years later, that instinct is still working exactly as designed.